Welcome back to HorrorVision, and we're back at the Vault of Horror once again. You know, looking through this vault, there has been a lot of crazy horror movies that we have seen. We've seen a girl possessed by the devil, we've seen the nightmares of Elm Street, we've seen a man with a hook and bees. But today we're going to be looking at a film that I think paved the way to films, that paved the way as documentary films. The problem is that this documentary film, and probably for the rest, in my opinion, for my opinion only, it's not really that good. And today, we're going to be looking at the 1998 The Last Broadcast. The Last Broadcast was released on March 9th, 1998. A man by the name of David Beard films a documentary about four men who went into the Pine Barrens of New Jersey looking for the Jersey Devil, and only one survives. I can understand this movie not being the best out of all of them. Rotten Tomatoes have gotten us a 44%, as well as IMDb giving this a 5.4 out of 10. This movie is not my favorite. I didn't really enjoy this movie as much. I mean, it did pave the way for other stuff like the Paranormal Activity movies and the classic Blair Witch Project. But it's not really a good film, and here's why. Horror could be in many different types of ways. It could be in different types of ways and also different types of stuff. Now, if you want to go with my granted, I've never seen the Blair Witch Project and I've never seen the Paranormal Activity movies. But I have seen this movie, which was The Last Broadcast. Thanks to, YouTubers that actually found this movie. I mean, this was basically trying to be based off of a documentary of the Jersey Devil at the New Jersey Pine Barrens. Now, I'm in New Jersey, and they've had stuff like, they have like cursed roads, and they also have haunted areas and stuff, and then there's the Pine Barrens about the Jersey Devil. Like, I'm sorry, but does this devil actually exist? Because I'd never heard of any of this type of crap before in my life. They say that it's based off of real events. I mean, is it really? I think they just took an old style camera and then just just filmed everything that they could do and just filmed it until they were ready to release it on 1998 of March 9th. It's just shocking to me. It just felt boring, and it didn't feel like any of the documentaries we have beforehand. I mean, you look at stuff like the Big House documentary, which is talking about prisons, both the history, the violence, the murders, the people who were locked up, how the prison was built, how it was run, and how it was run today. That documentary was good. Then you get Mysteries at the Museum, which was more in depth into mysteries that museum people have found, and even mysteries that are either solved or have not been solved to this very date. Then you get Mysteries at the Abandoned. Now that one talks about abandoned stuff that you might have not known about. And there are some famous ones too. But this one is supposed to be titled that it's based off of real events, when really you look at the credits and it's kind of like, yeah, they faked this. They literally faked this. You really think we're just going to be that fucking stupid? I mean, to the film's credit, it at least tries to put a storyline together, and it did pave the way, like I said, to the Paranormal Activity movies and the Blair Witch Project. But it's not scary. I mean, it paved the way for horror movies to begin with that are documentary-based and used footage cameras, but it's not the best movie. I wouldn't even consider it the best horror movie. It's not scary, it's not horrifying, it's not even horrifying in the modern age. I do like the kind of the static images and the creepy camera quality, because it feels like I'm watching something terrifying, at least. Like, at least I'm watching something that really happened. It's like you can watch this whole. If they just called this, like. If they actually just made a documentary called The Lost Broadcast, it could be, like, on the TV instead of, like, in the movie theaters. But no, they just put this in the movie theaters, and there was not much on it. Like I said, Rotten Tomatoes gives this a 44%, and IMDb just gave this a measly, like, almost half half of good. Like, I never liked this movie. I literally, I give this thing a thumbs down. I just don't like it. It's boring. That's all I can think about. That's all I can say. I mean, not only that, if you're doing something illegal, I mean, what is the point of that, right? You know, just going to the Pine Barrens and trying to see if the Jersey Devil actually exists. When in reality, there is no Jersey Devil. If there was ever such thing as a Jersey Devil, then people would be actually more afraid than we are now. Some people nowadays are just believing in the paranormal, the ghosts, you know, not anything that is beyond a different realm, such as hell and any type of, like, dimension, so to speak. But there is some quality to this movie of becoming creepy. I mean, I do like the kind of, like, the title screen where, like, it shows a bunch of trees, like a really bad quality of trees. Like, I think the contrast is just up to too much. And then it just gets the static there, and then it goes to the blank screen that says The Last Broadcast. So it kind of shows that it can at least be a documentary, but literally, I don't even think it should be a documentary. I'm not a big fan of documentaries. They're not my favorite. Counting the ones that I already talked about, like The Big House, Mysteries of the Museum, and The Mysteries of the Abandoned. Those are great documentaries, and I highly recommend you guys find these things online, or especially on the TV now, because Mysteries at the Museum and Mysteries at the Abandoned are still on the televisions to this date, but The Big House is not anymore. So I highly recommend you guys try to find this thing online, at least find the prisons that they at least talked about. They've talked about Eastern State Penitentiary, they talked about Alcatraz, but that's not what we're talking about. We were just talking about The Last Broadcast, and for something that is inside this vault of horror, I don't think it even deserves to be inside of it. But if it wanted to tell a story based on true events, well, it probably does belong in there. But, I mean, next time we're going to be doing a collaboration with someone, so I hope you guys really do enjoy this video. Even though it's a very short one for me, I just wanted to put this out to you because this is not a very scary movie. If you're just a guy who just wants to sit down and at least look at a documentary kind of feel, this movie might be for you. But even for a guy who looked at documentaries, you know, on both the internet and the television, this is not a really good documentary for even my taste. Plus, I don't believe in the Jersey Devil. It's ridiculous. But I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you tomorrow. We're going to be doing a collaboration with another YouTuber, and we're going to be talking about a movie that we have both seen, I think a couple of days ago. Oh, and don't worry. I hope you guys brought your guns, because we're going to be talking about another zombie movie, but not by the king, well, the godfather of zombies himself. It's not from him. It's from somebody else.